Have you ever been enjoying a video game that was simple on the surface, yet during your playthrough you stumbled onto a scene you absolutely did not sign up for? Maybe it was a slow tonal shift, or just one moment that's weirdly emotional, almost in contrast to the rest of the game. Well, I certainly have, and I want to share several of my favorite examples with you, beginning with the earliest instance I can remember, the surprisingly wholesome ending to Luigi's Mansion. To understand why this scene is so effective, here's a brief explanation of what happens throughout the game. Luigi's Mansion is a short and sweet title that almost takes on an arcade-ish feel with how crazy some people get over the score chasing. You scrounge through a mansion populated with ghosts of all kinds to save your brother who got turned into a painting. Dumbass. The game's bosses, the portrait ghosts, are the toughest. Through the magic of Professor Egad's Timu Rube Goldberg machine, defeated portrait ghosts are turned into paintings. I didn't really think about how awesome that was until I started making this video. The process for turning ghosts into paintings is shown repeatedly throughout the game. Literally the entire animation is played out despite being exactly the same each time. On defeating the final boss and retrieving Mario's portrait, Egad and Luigi try something very dangerous, but it's kind of the only thing they can do. They put Mario through the machine backwards.
Mario? Mamma mia. Oh, oh,
Luigi's overwhelming relief at the successful rescue of his brother brings tears to his eyes, a reaction made all the more impactful by the longevity of the Mario franchise in general. If you thought the more recently released Mario movie, emphasizing the close connection between the brothers, was Nintendo trying to reshape history, it absolutely was not. These brothers have loved each other for decades. I can't help but tear up every time I see Luigi cry. The way he laughs shows that he's so relieved to finally be able to lay down the poltergeist and live peacefully again. I can never watch this without crying when Luigi laughs. Honestly, I tear up every time I see it. Seeing Luigi cry those tears of relief by finally seeing his brother after a long and scary night, that's one of, if not the most human emotion the Mario brothers have shown us to this day. While this ending sits rent-free in my head, it doesn't take up nearly as much real estate as the next example.
Keep moving.
This one's kind of cheating, so you might be confused at God of War's inclusion on this list. It is clearly an introspective game, wrestling with myriads of different heavy topics and themes, including strained parental bonds, accepting your past, and tolerating recycled bosses. Emotional moments are the norm, not the exception. Far from odd.
No. Finish what you started.
I can't.
Isolated, that is absolutely the case. Relevant to this video, though, is not just one insanely good scene in God of War 2018 that is head and shoulders above everything else in the game, but also its contrasts to the prior God of War games. People were falling off this franchise fast. They were tired of Kratos' one-track mind. His obsession with Zeus made for an epic revenge story, but when Ascension came out and was panned by critics for its similarity to the last game, game director Cory Balrog decided to take a massive gamble and completely change everything. The feel, the combat, the setting, even the Blades of Chaos, one of the most famous weapons in video games, is replaced with something entirely different, but still pretty cool. It almost feels like blatant disregard for what came before, like the new game is going out of its way to ignore past entries. I'm gonna say something that makes a lot of God of War fans angry, which is probably really dangerous. I don't think Kratos was a complex character until the newer entries. I still liked him as a character, don't get me wrong, and it's fine if you disagree. Let me know in the comments why if you do. Irregardless of how you feel on this, I don't think anyone would argue the character depth became absolute cinema in the newer entries.
Kratos, Snack?
I do not need a snack.
The multi-layered dynamic between Kratos and his son Atreus is always shifting like tectonic plates, erupting upward the closer they try to get to each other. Tension looms like a bad smell for a good chunk of this adventure, a father and son traveling together whilst in two different worlds. Kratos does not even tell Atreus he is a god. But those barriers start to fade as the two spend more time together. Adventuring for a while will do that to anyone. And it's almost all for nothing, because a terrible fate befalls Kratos' child, one a father should never have to stomach. Atreus gets sick, and the cure is located in the depths of hell. Omori Amino. Problem is, as cool as the Leviathan axe is, it will be completely useless here. And so Kratos' refusal to look the past in the face has finally caught up with him. He returns home and retrieves them.
There's nowhere you can hide, Spartan. Put as much distance between you and the truth as you want. It changes nothing. Pretend to be everything you are not. Teacher, husband, father. But there is one unavoidable truth you will never escape. You cannot change. You will always be a monster.
I know. But I am your monster no longer.
That's a 10.
For Kratos, it's a vacation cut short, and for us, it's actual peak. A perfect physical and metaphorical culmination of his self-acceptance. God of War 2018 is almost nothing but good scenes, but this one is so goddamn hype, the creative director for the next game straight up admitted they wouldn't be able to top it. Yet for as much as the new tonal direction for God of War surprised me, I don't think it blindsided me as hard as, of all things, a commercial. But first, a different commercial. Chances are if you clicked on this video, you're a fan of games that can invoke a strong feeling, whether that be a subtle scene that tugs at the tear ducts, or just raw atmosphere. With this in mind, I can confidently recommend this video's sponsor, Skyless Blind. Skyless Blind is a sci-fi exploration game inspired by the likes of Humaniki and other RPG Maker games. Explore incomprehensible worlds, meet mysterious characters, and unearth the dark truth behind weeping stars in a broken universe. While I love Humaniki, I do feel it's lacking in the area of just having video game things. Skyless Blind understands this and combines what worked with that game with a suite of new features. There are hidden items, collectible cloaks to personalize your appearance, and secret music tracks you can locate to play at your home and expand the game's soundtrack. On top of that, there's even combat, though it is completely optional and does not intrude on the exploration aspects of the game. There's even endgame mechanics that encourage exploring old areas after completion. A true feature-rich atmospheric RPG Maker game for the year of 2025. If that's not enough, there's even a one-shot crossover area, truly the cherry on top. When I saw how beautiful this game looked, I knew immediately that I wanted to see it succeed. The Kickstarter does not have much time left, so if you're able to, please support the project by following the link in the description. Hi, coming at you again after the initial editing to tell you that there is about 28 hours left of the campaign as of the time this video goes live. Late pledges will be available after the deadline, but just know that those will be slightly more expensive. Appreciate your interest or just hearing the sponsorship out. Thank you to lead developer Nier for supporting the channel. AstroBot is a glorified PlayStation commercial turned platformer that features amazing IPs Sony has willfully ignored for decades, and I love it. This seems like weird praise, but one thing I loved was how the PS5's haptic feedback perfectly channeled everything you do on screen. The developers said they wanted the controller to feel like a toy, and it totally does. At times, it scratched the same part of my brain a fidget cube would. It was just so tactile, especially the parts where you repair your PlayStation ship. And in case you were wondering, the overall just level design was great also. What was also great was, well, AstroBot, surprisingly. A plucky little hero who did little more than what the controller told him to do. Jump and punch with the occasional smiz, whilst saving his friends. This sounds simple, and it is, but there is something huge, swelling in the background, completely invisible to the player until the final scene. Spending dozens of hours with AstroBot leaping over colorful things and invoking your right to repair is a fun time, but this fun comes to a halt at the very end, when, in a desperate gambit to stay alive, the final boss grips Astro as he's sucked into a black hole. In a scene that is equal parts funny and tragic, the other bots get even more sad when they see the credits start to roll. AstroBot falls from the sky safe but not sound, and in an incredibly odd but profound turn of fate, we discover all of that not-so-subtle Sony marketing was culminating in this uncomfortable but powerful moment. I'm not going to tell you this scene changed my life or deserves an Emmy, but what an oddly personal moment. What a perfect way to cap off the pleasant surprise that was last year's best platformer. Holding the lifeless body that was AstroBot is hard on its own, but the haptic feedback elevates this scene such that you are completely in the game's thrall, feeling every detail of his reconstruction as he comes back to life in your hands. Thankfully, the supporting cast of robots are eager to help out our failed protagonist. hastily throwing arms and legs in a last hope to get him on his feet. Even the big square guy chimes in, it's great. And so it was that in the year of 2024, a PlayStation infomercial completely stole our hearts and gave it to AstroBot.